Hey guys, Double Wide 6, and today I'm taking a look at this Cub Cadet. It's the Ultima. It's a residential mower. I'm going to take a quick look at it with you guys, go over some of the features. Alright guys, this mower is a residential mower, and these residential mowers have gotten a lot better over the past 15 years or so. And the main thing with this mower is it has a fabricated deck. So that means the deck is welded up, it's not stamped, and it's very strong. Okay, it's made out of about 1/8 inch steel, and then it has this 3/16 border welded around the front in case you hit something. Now these brackets that often break off on residential mowers, you'll notice that it's not just welded down here, it's 90'd, bent to a 90-degree angle, and then they have this odd shape instead of just a straight shape, and the reason for that is it creates more surface area for welding, and that's done on this side and it's done on the other side, so that should not break off. Now some of these older mowers, to raise and lower the deck, they used to use cables. I know Cub Cadet did, and the Troy built, and the MTD line, and those cables would end up breaking and fatiguing. Where this uses a different deck lifting system, which is upgraded and very good. It has a 2-inch tubular frame. You can see it has headlights. The seat does not have armrests on it. It may be an option, I'm not sure, but the seat is super comfortable. They also have this, these are cast aluminum and adjustable arms. You can put them forward and back any way you want. And the hand grips on these, they're ergonomically designed. They're not round, they're meant to fit your hand, and they're very comfortable. You got some Turfmaster Carlisle tires on the front and back, which are pretty good tires, so that's an upgrade from some of the older models of Cub Cadet. The engine on this unit, I know they make them with a Kawasaki. This one has the Kohler 7000 series. I like this engine. I've been inside this engine. Everything in it is metal. It's a very good sounding, powerful, strong engine. It is also very easy to service. I can pull it apart and get into things pretty quickly. It's well designed. Now if you look at this tubular frame, another thing that you'll notice from a work perspective is I can access the carburetor without removing any of the back frame. You can see they left this area open to give you access, and that's really nice. I just had a simplicity in here that I literally spent over an hour taking off the back and putting the back on when I was done servicing the carburetor on it. So continuing on that theme of easy access, if you put the seat forward, you have easy access to your battery. And one of the things that I've noticed is that grass tends to clump up and build up here, so you want to keep this nice and clean. You don't want to overheat any of your electrical terminals or cause them to rust from wet grass. Another design innovation is they have these rubber things. These are made to support the seat. They're like a rubber plastic. There's 2 of those, and I'm telling you, the seat is super comfortable for a residential mower. And you know, that's a smart idea, because Cub Cadet used to use springs, and it's probably cheaper to do it with that plastic, and it seems to work better. I'm going to show you how to raise the deck. They have this spin dial with the different numbers on it, and there's also a pedal. Now my customer that owns this mower is legally blind, and he has trouble reading these numbers. So I put an indicator screw on here for him to kind of help him figure out where he's at, because he can't see the numbers that well. I'll show you how to raise and lower the deck now. So when you step on this pedal and push it forward, you'll notice the deck lifts up. So you have all the force, and it's not that much. It may be spring assisted. So I have the deck up now, and now I can take my selector and turn it to whatever number I want, and it just kind of clicks in. I have seen this system on a Kubota machine that I recently worked on, but it seems to work very well. The only thing, maybe they could make these numbers a little easier to read, a little bigger. Another thing that I like from an ergonomic perspective is normally you have to cut like this, but with this curved frame you can actually put your feet out here and it's pretty comfortable. It gives you a lot of area, you know, even for like say a 42-inch residential mower. This one is 54-inch. You'll also notice that the front of the mower is pretty wide. This mower has a great stance on it, and I'm going to show you guys a little later in this video cutting on hills how well it actually cuts. The mower comes with the little wrench here, so you could pop this out, and if you need to service anything, this bolt here, which has never been off, you would loosen this up and this will give you access to all the belts. Alright, let's talk a little bit about the transmission. So this system has the Hydro Gear. I think they're 2200, and these are residential hydros. They don't have an oil filter on them. They're probably good for about 1,000 hours. So, you know, if you cut like 40 hours a week, the mower should be good for like 25 years. I mean, that's talking getting your hydros about 1,000 hours of use. Now, I've seen a lot of these hydros come in with, you know, somewhere around 600 hours where they start having some problems. So that's something that you're going to see with a residential mower. You'll also notice that they have this oil drain hose already hooked up. That's nice. The filter side, I like the fact that you could put the big oil filter on there. The longer the filter, the more filtration. You'll notice that there's not a hole here, I don't think, for the oil to drip through. So when you pull that off, that's going to be a hot mess. So the easiest way to combat that is to take yourself like a milk container and cut the bottom off and leave it like a 1/2 inch high and slide it under there, and that'll catch that oil for you. This is the discharge chute, nothing fancy, made of plastic. You know, I'd rather see one made of rubber like the commercial Toros, but you got to remember this is a $3,000 residential mower. But what I'm pointing out here is this discharge opening is reinforced and very strong. So like down here you can see it's not going to break through, where like the Craftsman residential mowers, there's like barely anything holding it together. You got 3 rollers on the front of the deck, which is nice. They help with anti-scalping on hills. On the back, looks like there's some holes on that deck, so you could probably attach a lawn striper roller. I know the Gravely's, they have like a rubber mat that hangs there to help stripe the grass. There are no wheels on the back of the deck to prevent scalping. But what you'll notice is that this is a floating deck, so it'll ride with the land. So you can see how it just rides up on its own when those wheels hit the ground, and that's what gives you that really nice even cut. I almost forgot the spindles on this. They're nothing spectacular. They're just a residential spindle. They're not greasable, which I believe with a residential mower is probably better, because they're sealed ball bearings and people don't grease the bearings unless they're in the business pretty much. So they're probably better off, and you know, those are rated for about 10 years probably. Now, one of the biggest complaints with this mower is that there's a lot of vibration with the deck. I cut with this yesterday and I didn't notice any vibration problems, so this one's working very well. Another thing I like about the deck belt is they give you a 5/8 inch belt, which a lot of residential mowers, it's only a 1/2 inch. Having to put a bolt in here to connect this down is a bit of a pain, but I can tell you it's a very good system, because if you don't have a bolt here, these tend to vibrate, especially on lighter mowers that are like residential, because the metal's just not heavy enough. That's another thing with like the fabricated deck, you're going to get less vibration as well, just because of the weight of the deck. Alright. I just want to bring you guys in and show you the deck lift mechanism. It works on a series of levers. So you have this one and this here, and there's a pin going through here. The deck removes really easily, so you just pop a couple pins and it'll slide out, so you don't really need any tools besides like a pliers to undo these pins. But I like the fact that it has a hanger on each side, very solid. This is 1/2 inch round bar bent, and it's on each side. Some of these Craftsman mowers, they have it on one side and it's just like hanging on the other. You can't get the deck even. And to adjust it, you can loosen that nut and tighten this bolt. And there's an adjustment on each side, and it's just very simple to do, very well designed. So I like that a lot. You could probably buy a hitch for this mower, but looking at the design here, I feel like they should just have a hitch on there for you, just so you could pull a spreader or a cart if you need to. And one other thing, this mower does cut in reverse, and that's a really nice feature. A lot of mowers have safeties where they turn off the blades and shut it down when you're going in reverse, but this one will cut in reverse. Guys, the cut on this mower is fantastic. My grass isn't really high enough. I did cut the grass with it, so you can see it is a nice cut. Now this hill, it's probably at least 25 grade. It might even be 30. It gets lower down towards the bottom. I can tell you for a fact, just about every residential mower I've ever used can't mow my hill, but this one can, and I'm going to show it to you. My grass isn't that high, but I'll just show you the cut. Couple other things I'm thinking about here, like you see how the deck's sticking out about 6 inches past the tire? That's your trim edge, and that makes it great for going around trees and obstacles, so that's really nice. Another thing is, usually you're cutting close to bushes and things on this side. This is your trim side, so none of the controls are here, they're on the other side, and that way when you drive by a bush it doesn't knock the throttle down. Now another thing, with this hill that I just cut, you can see how steep it is. I cut it across because I could, and as I said, most residential mowers won't be able to do that, but that thing holds the hill very well. It's a 54-inch deck. Now, to cut this, the best way to cut it, if you have a zero turn, is to go straight down. If you can go down that hill and not like hit a fence or something like that. So in my case, I can go down and I can turn on the street. This is a great tip for you guys running residential zero turns. Because of the weakness of the hybrid gear transmissions, you don't want to try and turn on your driveway or on the street every time you cut, because these transmissions can't handle that abrasion. Okay, it's too much force on them. The wheels are actually designed to actually slip a little bit on the grass when you turn. And what that does is that takes the pressure off your transmission. So if you're always cutting and turning on your driveway, that's another way to kill your transmission in like 5 years. So try and always turn on the grass. So for a $3,000 mower, I think Cub Cadet did a great job here. Now, one other issue here is that they sell these units at Tractor Supply. And the guy that bought this bought it at Tractor Supply. So he called Tractor Supply when it wasn't working after 25 hours. And they told him that he needed to drive 30 miles to go to some Cub Cadet dealer. And the Tractor Supply place is like 6 or 7 miles from our house. So he wasn't happy with that, and he looked on Google and he found me. And he told me, hey, you should go down there and tell them that you'll service their mowers, because I'm sure they have people calling all the time. So I might just do that. But what I'm getting at is, if you service your own mower, you can go ahead and you can buy it from Tractor Supply if you can handle everything. If you can't handle everything, go to a Cub Cadet dealer. They have the same mower, might be $100 more, but anything you need service-wise, they'll take care of it. I know I'm in Allentown, and our Cub Cadet dealer is absolutely fantastic. I've been there probably 50 times. And they've always worked with me. I've bought a lot of stuff from them over the years, and yeah, I'd recommend them. But yeah, that's pretty much the Ultima ZT1. This is a 54 with the fabricated deck, and I think it is a really nice mower. The two issues that people complain about are vibration. It's going to vibrate a little bit, all mowers do, and this isn't. This seems fine. This is the way it's supposed to be, and the other issue might be that the transmissions won't last forever, but this is a residential mower. It's not a commercial mower, and you got to keep that in mind. It's a lot of mower for the money, and this is 2020, and I think Cub Cadet did a great job designing this mower. Alright guys, if this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you have any questions, you can ask down below in the comments. Take care.